everyone, welcome to a special spoiler review episode of the
Geek
Buddies!
Hey! We are jumping in. Michael, your internet is still bad. What's going on there? We're trying to get this thing going on. Yeah, you're still fuzzy as hell, brother, man.
I look fine on my screen. You guys look fine on my screen. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, this is a mystery that we need to get to the bottom
of. Well, we got to record it, so we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll clear itself up before we go forward. But hey, this film is coming out here. Scoob. It came out already for VOD. Directed by Tony Cervone. It's written by Matt Lieberman, Adam Sitzkel. I hope I'm saying that right. Jack Donaldson and Derek Elliott, with story by Matt Lieberman, Eyal Padel, and Jonathan E. Stewart. It stars Will Forte as Shaggy, Mark Wahlberg as the Blue Falcon, which is the Blue, and really his name is, I think, David. He's the Blue Falcon's son. Brian, right. Jason Isaacs is Dick Dastardly. Gina Rodriguez is Velma. Zac Efron is Fred. Amanda Seyfried is Daphne. Kiersey Clemens is Dee Dee Sykes. Ken Jeong as Dynomutt, and Tracy Morgan as Captain Caveman. And it features the voice of Frank Welker, legendary Frank Welker, as the voice of Scooby-Doo. It's Scooby and the gang. They face their most challenging mystery ever, a plot to unleash the ghost dog Cerberus upon the world. As they race to stop this dog apocalypse, the gang discovers that Scooby has an epic destiny greater than anyone imagined. All right, gentlemen, thoughts about Scoob, please. Who'd like to start?
I will jump in. I thought Scoob was adorable. I super enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good movie. There were a few of the casting choices that I didn't agree with that kind of kept it from being a great movie. Mm-hmm. But I thought Mark Wahlberg as Blue Falcon Jr., basically, hilarious. Ken Jeong as Dynomutt, hilarious. Tracy Morgan as Captain Caveman, hilarious. So much fun. And just, again, we got something new. We got something new to watch. I thought Zac Efron as Fred, really, really good. I was not a big fan of Will Forte. I just don't think he just didn't have the voice the way like Matthew Lillard did. Mm-hmm. And I thought Amanda Seyfried and Gina Rodriguez were kind of miscast. It was just kind of a lifeless performance to me. But overall, I thought the mystery was a blast. It was a lot of fun. And I imagine if you have kids at home that this movie will be a 2-hour godsend, much the way Charles' World Tour was.
Mikey.
Am I clearer? Am I still fuzzy?
You're fuzzy. You're fuzzy, but we can hear you.
All right, fine. I thought it was fine. I thought it was cute. Like, I think that, it is as far as like a good family movie to go, especially a family movie, especially right now where we're all sort of stuck at home. It is definitely a light and fun and enjoyable couple hours. I think it had the potential to be a lot better. Like, I think that, I think with these brands, like, with all of these big brands like Scooby, getting the animated feature treatment, I think that they did exactly what they needed to do. Like, it was a fun, cute movie. It had some really nice heart. I think that had they dug a little deeper and built that story out a little bit more, they could have elevated this to be an even bigger movie, particularly with kind of opening things up to sort of the HBU, like the Hanna-Barbera universe, the way that they did with Captain Caveman and Dick Dastardly and Blue Falcon and Dynomutt. Like, that's such a great idea. That was my favorite part about the movie. And I think really like focusing the heart of the movie on what makes Scooby and Shaggy important to Mystery Incorporated was also really smart. And I think that then it just kind of fell into it was fine. Like, it was fun. Like, the action was fine. The big ending sequence was fine. It was cute. I enjoyed it. I smiled. But I think that they really could have like elevated it to an even bigger level, which I kind of wished they had done.
Okay, and that's fair. And I liked the movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. They sent me a nice little Scooby guy here to celebrate the release of it. Very kind of them to do so. I got to interview the director, Tony Cervone, for a deep cut that I dropped already on the channel. So you can go and listen to his thoughts on it for about 45 minutes, talking about what inspired him to do this, the 6-year journey of making this film, and the amount of time he spent speaking with the Hanna-Barbera people, speaking with the old animators who did Scooby-Doo, who did some of these characters, and how many of the characters from the Hanna-Barbera universe he wanted to use. Grape Ape was going to be a part of this thing. Speed Buggy was going to be a part of this thing. There were stuff that was written in all the process through that had to be cut out that they wanted to include. So this was, in essence, a world-building movie that was supposed to kind of be the groundwork for a possible universe, and may still be, depending on the numbers. It was number one when it dropped by that afternoon on iTunes on VOD. Pretty incredible there. But I will say this, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I grew up with Scooby-Doo. These aren't like, dense, complex plots. This is a gang getting together, trying to find out what happened and where that missing thing is. That's usually what it is in every episode. You'll get people, scary haunted houses, and you'll get weird people dressed up in costumes have to pull the mask off in that way. So I thought for what it was, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Had a good time, smile on my face. I thought Mark Wahlberg stole every scene he was in. Incredibly funny. I actually didn't mind Gina Rodriguez. I liked her in the role, and I liked the fact that they turned Velma into Latina and didn't make a big deal about it. I loved that. She just said she had one exclamation in Spanish, and I was like, okay, she's Latina. Good to go. I like it. Daphne's never been that big of a role to play or asking that much of an actress, but I thought Amanda brought a sweetness to it. Certainly, I agree with you, Shannon. Zac Efron was fine in the role as Fred, good in the role as Fred, but Jason Isaacs as Dick Dastardly really is another one that was incredible with the Dastardly stuff. And I thought some of the storyline with him, I thought was really fun and interesting as well. And of Kiersey Clemens, doing what she does, really good stuff there for her too. But overall, I agree with you, Mike, though. They could have done more. They could have fleshed out more, but what we got, it's a Scooby-Doo, film.
And actually,
are you expecting?
No, and as you guys are talking about it, I think the first 15 minutes or so of the movie was actually my favorite. I actually think
which is the prequel stuff.
Yeah, seeing Shaggy and Scooby meet for the first time, I thought was super well done.
Yeah.
Kind of establishing that Shaggy is kind of lonely and on his own and doesn't have a lot of friends, and he finds Scooby. And then through that, the two of them meet the others, and we get to see them on Halloween on their very first adventure. They did a really good job of, here's how they met, and we're giving you a mini 3-minute episode of Scooby-Doo. It was, and we solved a mystery and we caught the bad guy. And then the way that they sort of went into the opening credits of Scooby-Doo to sort of give you that montage. Yeah. Oh, they grew up together. I think maybe that was what happened, is that for the first 10 minutes of this movie, 15 minutes, whatever that was, I was like 1,000% in. I was so enchanted. I was like, this is the Scooby-Doo that I know and love. You're giving me this heart. Like when Shaggy gave Scooby his collar and Scooby was like, I'll never take this off. I was like, that's beautiful. Knowing full well that he was going to take it off later in the movie, because that's what the setup is. And I think that was all really cool. And then once we got to the Shaggy and Scooby get abducted by Blue Falcon, because of some kind of amorphous reason, like the big mystery of the giant Cerebrus dog skulls and opening things up and Dick Dastardly wanting this treasure, I was like, yeah, okay, like that's fine. But then things started to get less. The more that you got away from the heart of this core idea that Shaggy and Scooby don't really belong on it. You don't bring anything to the team. And we said it got wrapped up in the bigger adventure of it all. I got less interested. And then by the time you got to the end with everything where they were like, oh, we're going to touch pause and open up this portal. But then Alexander the Great had a back door, so Scooby got out. So everything's cool. Right. It kind of wrapped up really quickly. And I just was really, I think they set up something so good. Yeah. So Johnny, you're right. You're saying oh, it's a Scooby-Doo movie. What do you expect?
Yeah.
That's kind of how that's when the Lego movie came out. You were like, oh, it's a Lego movie. What do you expect? And you got this thing that sort of bowled you over. Yeah. And based on the opening, I was like, oh, this is really good. I'm not taking anything away from this movie. They nailed the characters. The idea of bringing in the bigger Hanna-Barbera universe was a delight. And if you're sitting at home and you're questioning whether or not you should pay the money to rent this and check it out, you 1,000% should. So I think what happens with me, especially with animated movies, because it's, kind of a thing. Yeah. I think that I think they did a really good job. I think that with the way they set things up, they could have taken Scooby-Doo to a whole other level. And they didn't quite do that. But when I go see another movie in this kind of Hanna-Barbera universe with this crew and this cast doing it, 1,000% yes.
Yeah, I think so too. I'd like to see what Tony could do with another sequel to this movie because it got mixed reviews already. We're on the heels of it coming out and being reviewed quickly already, and there were some mixed reviews for the film. But I don't know, man. I like the message of friendship in this movie. I like the message in this time now where everyone's at each other's throats and politically and online and everything that's happening. I like the fact you have a movie that coming out with this nice message about friendship that makes you nostalgic for a time when you could watch that show when you were a kid and thought the world worked in a certain way, and I like that about it. And I enjoyed the prequel stuff of it as well. The first 10, 15 minutes, I thought that was great. Them redoing the opening was fantastic as well. And they couldn't put Shaggy in the bath apparently. And by the way, Tony told me this in the interview. They didn't come up with that until almost the ninth hour of the making of the movie, like right near the end. The 12th hour, what do you want to say? Right near the end, they knew something was missing from that intro or the beginning, and they thought, well, why don't we reshoot the intro from the animated series and put it in our film? And I think it made all the difference. But you're right, Mike. It might signal it might signal where the movie doesn't quite live up to the first 10 minutes. That's the mark where the rest of the movie does an admirable job, but doesn't quite get there as good as it was in the first 10 minutes and what was promised there. I do want to give 2 shout outs here. Junkie XL did the music for this one. I thought the music was really well done, in my opinion.
Totally.
And Michael Korinsky was the production designer who did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So, I mean, if you're going to build a universe with multiple characters and each one have different, kind of colors and looks about them, then you get someone like Korinsky who did that with Spider-Verse. And I thought he was great. There was a vibrant, beautiful animation throughout the movie.
Yeah, definitely. The final action sequence where they have the sort of like ghost.
Oh,
temple.
yeah.
I'm like, that was gorgeous. I mean, this was on par with most theatrical releases, which this was supposed to be. And apparently, Trolls World Tour cost a lot more to make than this. And granted, I'm not a fan of the Trolls franchise, but my guess is that I probably enjoyed Scoob more than I would have Trolls.
Maybe. All right. So at the end of the day, what do you guys score? You want to give it something out of 5 stars, something out of 4? What do you feel comfortable with? What do you guys feel comfortable with?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, 4 paws. 4 paws.
Nice. 4 paws. Mikey?
3 paws.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give it 4 paws as well. But I echo Mikey's thoughts. If you were hesitating because of some of the poor reviews or some of the not so great reviews or mixed reviews about ordering, don't hesitate. Watch this thing, share it with your child. Remember when you were watching Scooby-Doo, and share it and see if they enjoy it as well. I have a feeling that they will. All right, that's our spoiler-filled review for Scoob here on the Geek Buddies. We appreciate you clicking on here and watching it or listening to us on the Geek Buddies podcast feed. Shannon, what do we got to say?
Yeah, if you'd like to follow us on social media, on Twitter, it's at @geek_buddies. On Instagram, at @the_geek_buddies. If you'd like to follow me on social media, on Twitter, it's at Shannon_McClung. On Instagram, at Shannon the Geek Buddy. If you'd like to follow Mr. Vogel, it's at MKToon. If you'd like to follow Mr. Rocha, it's at The Rocha Says.
There you go. Mike?
If you would like us to keep doing Geek Buddies, it is no mystery how to make that happen.
Nice.
Go ahead and subscribe below to Johnny's page so you can keep getting great Geek Buddies content. Leave us a comment here. We love to read what you guys say. If you are listening to us on Anchor or Spotify or iTunes or wherever, comment, rate us, leave comments. I said comments twice. That's how important it is. Keep doing it. And tweet us, retweet us, tell people to check us out, post us on Facebook, do what you got to do. But the more that we are out there, the more that we will be here to keep giving you that mysterious, geeky, caveman, dastardly, falcon, Jinkies,
wow.
Scrappy-Doo content.
Apparently, Michael's internet isn't the only thing that's being affected right now.
I will say, Mike, I was into the first 10 seconds of it, but then you lost me after that. So, and there's the mystery machine. There we go.
Oh, guys, I give that ending wrap up 2 paws. Yes. Get myself 2 paws.
Okay. Michael's performance is still buffering right now.
Yeah, that's right. I appreciate that. That's great stuff. Yeah, and shout out to Tracy Morgan as Captain Caveman. Don't want to forget that. He was very funny. A nice little cameo in the movie. All right, that's it. Thank you all so much. Listen to what Shannon said. Listen to what Michael said. Subscribe and give us some love and share it with everybody you know on social media. And we'll talk to you next time on the
Geek
Buddies. Hey!